Hi guys, it's Lara. Thanks for watching and welcome back to my channel. So I have a new hair color again, and this time I went for this dark purple. The shade that I have used this time was Purple Haze from Manic, which is again a semi-permanent hair dye, and it's of course cruelty-free and vegan. Now this is actually a shade I'm quite familiar with, because back when I was still bleaching my hair and when I was wearing pastel purple, that has been one of the shades that I would dilute to a pastel color. As you can see, this is quite a dark color, so in order to achieve this shade I had to dilute it a little bit, and I was also curious about what it's gonna do to my natural hair color, because I have about that much of my natural hair color with some gray hair. So if you want to know more about that, then please keep watching. Purple Haze is a very dark purple, so I decided to dilute the color with a silicone-free conditioner, of course cruelty-free and vegan. The ratio was 1:1, and you have seen that I measured the conditioner in the empty Purple Haze jar. Here you can have a look at the difference between the original shade and between what the color looks like when it has been diluted. I also had at home some leftover ultraviolet, so I added it to the mix, and it also increased the volume. The volume I needed in total for my hair was about 1¼ of a jar of the hair dye and about a jar of conditioner. Here we have my freshly washed wet hair. The root area is natural hair color. The lengths are growing out bleached hair with 4 layers of herbal hair dye on them. I covered my shoulders with a little cape that I always use whenever dyeing my hair, and then I started rubbing conditioner around my face, my ears, and also on my neck in order to reduce any staining. You cannot avoid staining 100%, but it definitely helps. Instead of conditioner, you could use vegan Vaseline. Once my skin near the hairline was protected, I put my hair up and I left out a small section in the back. I put on plastic gloves and then I started applying the hair dye with a white brush. I always applied the hair dye to my roots first. I made sure they were thoroughly covered. Then I started applying more hair dye in the length of my hair. I added as much hair dye as necessary until the hair was properly covered, and I also always massaged it nicely in so that I wouldn't miss any spots. And I continued with the same procedure until my entire hair was covered in hair dye. Once I was done, the hair looked like this. I started cleaning any stains on my face and on my neck as well as possible. I always use micellar of water for that. That works actually quite well for me. But it works way better when you apply either conditioner or Vaseline on your skin first. It's way easier to get rid of the stains afterwards. Then I covered my hair with a plastic bag. A shower cap would work too. This prevents the hair dye from drying. And I left the hair dye on for about 3 hours because my root area is my natural color and virgin hair needs definitely more time than hair that has been chemically treated. To my surprise, the bathroom wasn't such a mess. I mean, it was still stained, but honestly, I expected worse. After 3 hours, I rinsed the hair dye out with lukewarm water. The colder the water, the better. It prevents the hair dye from fading too quickly. Now, anytime you wash your hair after dyeing it with semi-permanent hair dye, you should not use too warm water, otherwise it would fade a little bit quicker unless that's something you want. Here you can see how stained I was around the hairline, so I took again micellar water and did some more cleaning. And then I was ready to see the result. So here we have my hair when it was still wet on artificial light in the bathroom. To my very pleasant surprise, the hair color covered very nicely my virgin hair, especially any gray hair that I have. Here we have the hair color when my hair was still wet on daylight. And this is what the hair looked like once the hair was dry, again in bathroom light. Dry hair on daylight. And last but not least, this is what the shade looks like when the sunlight hits it. So far, I am extremely pleasantly surprised with how well the shade covered my natural hair color and the graying hair. But I haven't washed my hair yet because it's been only a few days since I dyed my hair to this shade, so I cannot say how long this color is going to last. So I will of course again monitor the wash out process, and I will document it for you at least to a certain point so that we see how long it's gonna last on my natural color in comparison to the lengths that have been previously chemically treated. Now, when I rinsed the hair color out, the color of the water was obviously very purple, but it became pretty quickly almost clear. It had only a very light purple tint, and it did not stain the bathtub so horribly like, for example, the last time when I used copper and cacao red from Maria Nila, the bathtub looked horrible. But don't worry, I cleaned it once and it was gone, so it's not a big deal, but I thought it might be interesting for you. So far, I didn't have any issues with staining. The only thing that's still stained is my scalp, because I just dyed my hair a few days ago, and since I wash my hair only every 5th or 6th days, sometimes even only once a week, it wasn't the time yet. So when I would like massage my scalp like this for right now, then my fingertips would be a little bit purple, but when I wash my hands once, it's gone, so it's not a big deal. And obviously, once I washed my hair again, the scalp will be clean again, so it's not gonna be an issue anymore. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this shade so far. I should maybe also add that right now, since this is pretty dark and I'm very pale and this makes me look a little bit paler than usual, I'm wearing mascara a little bit more often, and I also dyed my eyebrows black because I thought it would go a little bit better with the purple hair. But other than that, pretty much nothing changed, apart from I feel like a unicorn again because I have fun hair. So that is it for today. If you have any questions, just write them down below in the comments. If you ended up liking today's video, don't forget to give the video a thumb up because you help my channel a lot. You can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as usual, I will list and link down below a lot of stuff that could be either interesting or helpful for you. So thank you all so much for watching. I love you guys so much and see you soon. Bye!